Let's bring in big technology founder and CNBC contributor Alex Kantrowitz. Alex, thank you for being here this Friday. What do you make of all of these kind of back and forths between the AI companies and the Pentagon and the various chess game that's taking place?
Well, there are billions of dollars at stake. Anthropic, when it talked about the loss that it could take by being cut out by the Pentagon and other government agencies, put that in the billions. And so Google clearly sees that opportunity. And this is a critical moment because the government is very slow at implementing technology. Clearly, there's some urgency there to adopt these Gen AI players. And if you get in now, you can not only get the billions of dollars that are currently at stake, but you could stay entrenched for a very long time. And even if Anthropic does win its case against the Pentagon and gets this supply chain risk designation thrown away, it's going to have to claw its way back into every agency that's in the process of ripping it out right now. And in could come companies like Google and companies like OpenAI. And that's why you see this maneuvering that we're seeing today.
How much of this is political? Do these types of contracts shift under different administrations?
It's highly political. I mean, we clearly see that with Anthropic and the Pentagon. I think you're seeing that with a lot of Silicon Valley coming out and supporting Anthropic and saying, look, maybe the Pentagon, if it doesn't want to buy Anthropic products, it shouldn't. But it shouldn't punish it the way that it has with the supply chain risk designation. And that could really have cascading negative effects for other companies working with the government.
Right.
So certainly we could see, let's say, the next administration comes in and Emil Michael, who's running this project for the Pentagon, he leaves, somebody else comes in, they have a fresh slate with Anthropic, they could come in, or maybe they could even kick out the current vendors and put Anthropic back in. So there are all these possibilities at play. The one thing I'll say is governments move very slowly. So once you get the Pentagon used to using, let's say, OpenAI's technology in warfare, then it's not going to be very quick to remove that for something else just because the political allegiance is there, which is what makes this Anthropic move so dramatic. The only reason they could really do it is because we're so early on in the process.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You think of kind of like the types of customers and who is the stickiest. I would think it would be the government, but at this early juncture, relative to enterprise and consumers, it seems like anyone's game at this point. I want to ask you about another story, which is this Wall Street Journal piece about Jeff Bezos in talks to raise $100 billion for an AI manufacturing fund. That is a huge fund. Because it sounds like, based on their reporting, citing people familiar with the matter, that is he is corralling people together to raise that fund, which would be one of the biggest funds out there, specifically for AI manufacturing. What's your take on that?
It's a big deal. I think this could potentially be the second biggest thing that Jeff Bezos does in his life outside of Amazon. He's someone that's definitely seen the potential of automating different things in the industrial world. Think about the Kiva robots that he brought into Amazon fulfillment centers and the advantage that he was able to exploit with them. You think about Amazon versus the competitors, they're still going to get you stuff faster, and that enables them to offer products in a less expensive way. So I think if Jeff Bezos can take a next level of technology, what we're seeing today in the AI world, and apply that across the board while putting money in, that could give companies throughout industry an advantage over their competitors. And he could make a lot of money. I mean, it's definitely a $1 trillion+ opportunity.
It's a good point. You think of Amazon and the innovation there as being e-commerce, but it really is logistics. It's the warehouses.
Oh, yes.
It's the ability to get things to you quickly. What do you think this means for just the kind of the stack, the technology itself? If there is so much money being put into this world, what does that mean for AI demand and their ability to do what they need to do?
Very good sign for AI demand, because I think AI is going to do well if there's a diverse set of use cases. Not just the chatbot, not just the engineers using things like Claude Code, but if you get it involved in industry. For instance, let's say you're running a factory. And most factories and most industrial spaces are highly computerized right now, but a lot of that decision making happens with humans. And if you could get faster decisions, because let's say a Gen AI model is monitoring everything all the time and sees an anomaly and brings that to the attention with a suggested action to a manager of a plant, that could be huge. It could be a way to help companies expand, manufacturers expand, and then they're going to want even more of this technology, which means ultimately more money for the Gen AI companies. Yeah. So it's very promising if you're an OpenAI, Anthropic, and NVIDIA go down the line. Good stuff for them.
Yeah, and I guess there is another question, which is what happens to the, manufacturing-related real estate that used to do old school manufacturing and the jobs and so forth, and now it's going to be converted into these types of warehouses if he is successful in raising that capital.
Big question. And the one thing I'll point to is Amazon, after they brought in the robots, still has hundreds of thousands of humans inside those plants. There's always a but here. The but is for now, right? And we're seeing that in the warehouse specifically, robots are getting great at picking items out of buckets, which is sort of the last frontier in these Amazon warehouses. So we could end up seeing a pattern where employment spikes because these companies do better, but then they find a way to automate that extra employment, and then it goes down. And that could ultimately lead to real crises in our economy if we end up automating some of the core jobs that make the economy work.